Why hire a brand or a website designer in the age of extremely powerful AI? I think this is a really important question for both designers and people who hire designers to be asking ourselves. It's something I think about a lot, so I wanted to share my current perspective on this. Keyword being current, because I'm sure my thinking will evolve a lot in the next 1, 3, 5+ years. I use a mix of very specific AI tools and tactics at nearly every step in my brand and website creation process, either to enhance the quality of the work or to speed up parts of the process that no longer need to be done manually. I also rely on my own experience and my own taste to evaluate and refine AI's output at every step. Here's one example. At the beginning of every project, I have clients complete a fairly in-depth questionnaire. And this is to help me start deeply understanding their business, their goals, preferences, and ultimately what we should build together. I then use a custom GPT workflow that I've developed to translate that questionnaire into a project planning and strategy deck for the client and I to look at together to make sure that we're aligned. However, I never just present exactly what AI suggests for this deck. I review everything in there myself very closely, and in almost all cases, I refine it quite a lot to make sure that it's clear and that it actually feels aligned with the client's business. And some of that is based on my own intuition, which comes from the real human-to-human conversations that I've had with my client up until that point. Another example is that many websites and brands are supported by images or photography. And previously, the options for getting these were not great. You could invest in expensive photo shoots, or you could use stock imagery, which tended to feel pretty unoriginal. Now, I use a high-quality image generation software built specifically for designers like me to create a library of custom visuals tailored to each client's brand. And to do this, I spend a lot of time crafting the right prompts, refining outputs, and iterating. There's not a magic button you can press to get perfect results from this tool, or any tool in my experience. Once again, I put a lot of effort into making sure that these images feel high quality and human, even though, yes, they are AI. Because I don't know about you, but I have a really hard time trusting any business whose images look highly generic and artificial. It just feels a bit lazy. Those are just two examples of how I use AI in my process. But right now, I see it as a huge part of my job to stay on top of the best tools available, to be an expert in them so that clients don't have to be, and maybe most importantly, to weave everything together to make sure that clients get the best final product possible from both a visual and a technical standpoint. And tools aside, it might sound a bit old school, but a big part of the value that I aim to offer is just being a real friendly human who can guide people through what can feel like a really overwhelming process. That's not a responsibility that I take lightly, but I genuinely love the work that I do. So if you're thinking about leveling up your brand or your website and you want someone who can help you navigate the current landscape out there while also bringing a human touch to the process, I would love to chat. So please reach out.